What are you doing, bro? This cannot keep happening, or you'll find yourself out of the league. Look, guys, the Warriors are straight up bad right now.
It's disappointing because this team is struggling, and this team is trying to figure it out.
No ifs, ands, or buts. And unfortunately, there's one man in the middle of it all, causing all the trouble, the drama, the damaged team chemistry, and a whole lot more. Deservedly so, Draymond's being suspended indefinitely by the NBA.
ESPN sources say the NBA is suspending Golden State's Draymond Green indefinitely.
Go down in the comment section right now and tell me how many games Draymond should be suspended and why. But before I get into the root cause for the Warriors' hugely disappointing season, we have to understand one thing. Before the Draymond caused drama and all the antics, the Warriors were really good. Remember the explosive dynamic we saw from the duo of Steph Curry and Chris Paul?
Especially now with the competition.
Chris Paul, in the first few games of the season, put together a couple of games with double-digit assists.
From the lane.
Not only was he feeding off Steph's elite off-ball movement,
Ball with the bounce in the corner to Steph Curry.
he was controlling the tempo of the game to the point that the Warriors would easily pick apart defenses like it was no challenge. It's exactly the reason why Steph Curry hit the ground running this season, averaging 31 points per game during an early stretch in the season, lifting the Warriors to an impressive 6-2 start, and even placed himself in the thick of the MVP race. It was all going to happen. CP3's veteran command over the Warriors' small ball lineup, and in an offense that hinges on spacing, speed, and quick-fire scoring, would perfectly play into CP3's ability to dissect defenses, making split-second decisions, and execute flawless offensive sets. I mean, this is going to elevate the Warriors to a point where Steph and Klay are going to get looks they haven't gotten in years. Oh, at least I thought. Well, then at least. With playmaking duties now being in the hands of CP3, Draymond could go back to doing what he does best as the Warriors' defensive anchor, knowing that he wouldn't be asked to do a ton offensively with facilitating like in years past. Oh, wait, I think I was living in the past for a few moments there. Sorry. But I won't waste more time. In fact, let me just cut to the chase. Get it? Cut as in cutthroat, like our man Draymond?
Yeah, boy.
Okay, a little bit corny, I know. Sorry. Anyway, the Golden State Warriors have a huge Draymond Green problem. Draymond had already said he would do it again without any regrets.
I don't live my life with regrets. Like I said before, I'll come to a teammate's defense anytime that I'm in a position to come to a teammate's defense. That's what a team is. You stick together through the good and the bad. And I take that to heart.
But people are finally realizing this has been a trend in Draymond's career, and it is beginning to completely frustrate the Golden State Warriors to the point that big changes could be on the way.
Yeah, I think the suspension makes sense.
See, Draymond already had an instance similar to the Rudy Gobert one earlier this calendar year.
Curry's got the board. Green gets
And in pure Draymond fashion, this was his response.
I gotta land my foot somewhere, and I'm not the most flexible person, so it's not stretching that far.
But believe it or not, the Warriors have somehow put up with Draymond's behavior for a whole lot longer than you think. The most glaring knock on Draymond Green for almost his entire career has been his personality and the way he'll sometimes lash out at teammates, like that Jordan Poole incident that happened before the start of last season. But typically, what do we see with boneheaded players? Think of the Ron Artests, the Dennis Rodmans, the Pat Beverleys of the world. It isn't long before they are left looking for another team because of their troubled personality. But Draymond has put the Warriors in a rough spot so many times that even he once felt that he crossed the line and would get traded. Remember the time when he once fought Steve Kerr in the locker room during halftime way back in 2016? And what about the infamous late-game argument between Kevin Durant and Draymond back in an early season game against the Clippers to start the 2018 season? Draymond called his teammate KD the B word and told him to his face that he should leave the team right now. This fight created a big distraction for the 2019 Warriors, who were expected to pull off a three-peat. Many were convinced that Draymond was the biggest reason Kevin Durant left Golden State, even after KD won back-to-back Finals MVPs and nearly helped the Warriors pull off the first three-peat since Kobe and Shaq did it with the Lakers in 2002. But even then, the Warriors were willing to stand by Draymond. In August of the following offseason, the Golden State Warriors signed Draymond Green to a brand new 4-year deal worth $100 million. And just last summer, Draymond was very public about his desire to land a new contract, even after admitting himself the Warriors season last year was effectively a lost cause because of him punching Jordan Poole. With a player, this is problematic. Who was admitting that he hurt the team? The Warriors still granted him his wish for a max contract extension, but with the Draymond Green-Rudy Gobert incident from just a few weeks back, the Warriors are sounding more and more like they have had enough. Steve Kerr said publicly that Draymond went too far this time, and that he deserved to be suspended. And then in the most recent incident, yet again, Draymond is calling to be permanently banned from the NBA after another vicious play. This comes less than a month after Draymond, the same guy who punched his own teammate in the face last year, was suspended for 5 games for pouncing on Rudy Gobert like a sumo wrestler and dragging him away. Draymond Green has always been a hothead, but he has officially gone way too far. Things are getting completely out of hand. Steve Kerr, again, looks completely done with Draymond. After his 3rd ejection on the season, and with now 5 total ejections in this calendar year, it's not so much about Draymond having to be disciplined, but it is more about the fact that his behavior and conduct are rubbing off on this team in a bad way. The Warriors' chemistry has clearly taken a hit for the 2nd year in a row, and at the center of it all is Draymond Green, who isn't giving the Warriors much production statistically to offset all the drama he brings. What will the Warriors have to do now? Because here's a quick news flash for you. The Warriors aren't just dealing with crazy Draymond Green. The entire team has fallen off the rails as their loss to the Phoenix Suns was their 11th loss in the last 15 games. This dynasty has suddenly turned travesty. Even though the Warriors look bad as a whole, it's hard for the blame to be put on anyone else's shoulders. Draymond Green is the clear problem in Golden State. But the bigger story is, Draymond, just when we thought he would improve himself, has gotten much worse. See, after the Jordan Poole incident over a year ago, Draymond said he's a flawed human being, he's got a long way to go, and is a, quote, work in progress. But the question is, where is that progress Draymond spoke of? The only progress he's made is becoming more of an on-court psychopath ready to level guys in the dome. As a player that's being labeled as a core piece, and quite frankly, as someone who labeled himself as the heart and soul of the team, a leader, and the nucleus of the squad, this type of behavior tells us he's the polar opposite of what he's believed himself to be all along. Because he's completely lost it, and his reputation has been completely damaged. Not only are the Warriors concerned about him, they're stuck with him. No team will trade for a 34-year-old hothead, especially with a $100 million contract. Would the Warriors be bold enough to straight up release Draymond Green and let him walk? Again, either he cleans up his act, which seems highly unlikely, or the Warriors find a way to get rid of him altogether. But how do you trade someone with 0 trade value? Because at this point, the longer he's around, the more the Warriors will lose. The bottom line is, for the 2nd year in a row, the Warriors team chemistry feels terminally damaged. Another legendary Steph Curry season will inevitably go to waste. And who other than Draymond is the culprit of it all? We know the Warriors traded away Jordan Poole to make Draymond happy, but what has Draymond done so far this season to show he was worth keeping over Poole? His rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals are the lowest they've been in at least 9 seasons. And though he's been a defensive anchor in the past for the Dubs dynasty, his defensive win shares are the lowest of his entire career. And if he keeps putting guys in a chokehold every chance he gets, it's going to get ugly fast up in Golden State. The Warriors are walking a tightrope, and if some pressing issues aren't addressed quickly, the Warriors could be in for a long season. Don't forget to drop your comments on the Draymond suspension. I'll be reading all of your comments, and give me your 2 cents on the situation. Where do the Warriors go from here?